to take a look at this globally. So we set up a 2-year doesn't produce a nuclear holocaust, but instead produces at least the advantage of success, economic and otherwise, for the majority of them. Your comment about the food program and what's happening in the global south right now is pertinent to the max. When we did the Center for Naval Analyses did a series of simulations on climate change, on the climate crisis in general. We did it at the behest of the Navy and Center for Naval Analyses, and we did it on behest of other people around the center who wanted to take a look at this globally. So we set up a 2-year series of games. I think I've talked about this before. And one of the things we discovered, we think fairly powerfully, that around 2065 or so, in some worse case scenarios, worse as in not quite as bad as the last one, we would be confronted with masses of people coming out of the global south into the north, and they would be looking for water and food, essentially. Half of them would be male, half would be under 30, and half would be carrying a Kalashnikov and at least 20 rounds of ammunition and willing to fight for the food and the water. And what happened in the global north, if you will, in the sort of peer powers, all the way from Tokyo through the United States and Canada over to Europe and into China, what happened was we began to put our militaries on our southern borders and shoot people and kill them. I think we're going to look at that kind of migration maybe a little bit sooner than even these analyses showed, because what you said is true. We are going to starve the global south. I mean, we just are going to, because of the conditions that we're creating right now in the Strait of Hormuz and elsewhere, with product that needs to get on the high seas, needs to move in order for crops to be grown, in order for the World Food Program to have food that's surplus to other needs and to help with the South and to do other things that would be humanitarian in their aspect and would be life-saving. We're not going to be able to do that. So what are these people going to do except pick up and move? And which way are they going to go? They're not going to go south into the Indian Ocean or into the water period. They're going to go north. They're going to go north, and they're going to go as fast as they can. They think they had problems in the Mediterranean with people coming across from North Africa. Wait till you see what happens now. Wait till you see what happens in the Caribbean and out of South America and out of other places that are going to be badly hit and are even now being badly hit by everything from glaciers closing in on their 200-300-year-old communities in Chile, for example, and dying in the process, to food shortages. And it isn't going to get better. It's going to get much worse as the climate crisis intensifies. These heat figures we're seeing across the world right now are just one indication of that. People are dying across the globe from heat, and they're going to die in much greater proportions because we're not dealing with it. We're dealing with it only on the surface and only spasmodically. All to say that you're right. This is a very tense time. This transition from not just the fall of the Soviet Union and the movement of the globe into a more multinodal world and into a world that needs most of all to cooperate and collaborate in order to survive some of these challenges, to return to a treaty regime for nuclear weapons, for example, include all the
Shalom, shalom, all praise, honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha Kwadash, the Mohana Selda, and the apostles of Kutimison who do well, a peace, a blessing, and salutation to you, Aki, who are pushing these truths to the four winds of the heaven, being at the forefront of this spiritual war, and to make sure Jerusalem is established as a praise here on us again, as in the days of old. So it is another lesson coming to you through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man. And in this lesson, we are going to talk about the great famine which is coming, especially on the global south. You see, while the global north, in which as a ruling class right now, or what you call the developed world, will be fighting a war, the global south will be starving. And this is all based upon the strategic approach in which this Edo might have been creating since they came to power. When you talk about the elite or the power that are in place, is that they were creating like a dependency system where the global south, and when I talk about the global south, I'm talking about Africa, I'm talking about the Latin America, I'm talking about West Asia, which you call today the Middle East, man. You see, and China, and, see, you see. So when this war will be going on, there won't be any food, any goods moving to the global south, because we depend largely from this developed world, Tokyo, which is Japan, China, Russia, the European, America, and when they will be fighting a war, the coming war, in the global south, you won't have anything. So it will be anarchy, it will be famine. And when I speak about famine, I'm not talking about just being hungry, man. I'm talking about the point of society descending to cannibalism, man. See? And cannibalism in the global south is not a new thing, man. See? So, especially Africa and Latin America will be hit harder. You see? And when you compare Africa, Latin America, and the Middle East, which is West Asia at least, they have been into constant war, so they know how to survive. They know how to maneuver. You see, Ishmael know how to maneuver. He used it to harsh condition. Over here in Africa, we have been at ease for some times now, man. You see? Even though you hear there is wars in Africa or Latin America, you have certain place in which Jake is living at ease, man. See? For example, here in Tanzania, Mozambique, you have Zimbabwe, you have Zambia, you see, and a place like that. And West Africa too, you have certain countries, Jake is living at peace. When you hear there is war in Nigeria, it's not all Nigeria, man. Just a small portion of Nigeria have this terrorist group. But lately in Nigeria, Jake is living at ease over there, man. You see? So a huge and a great famine is coming, and I have been saying this, man, on multiple occasions. I have other videos going into this, man. A great famine is coming on the global south, man. See? 2 Ezra 15 and 49, I will send the plague upon thee, wormwood, poverty, famine, thought, pestilence, to waste thy house with destruction and death, and the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower, as the heat shall arise that is sent over us. You see? So the Most High is going to send famine, pestilence, man. You see? Not just the global south. And that Edomite was saying, the way he was phrasing it, it's like the global north will be doing all right. And what he meant is, after World War III, the global north, in which as this country may ruled by Edomite, they will be all right. And his projection is 2065, in which it ain't gonna take that far. It ain't gonna be even on 2030. Right now, man, the price of everything is skyrocketing, man. You see? Everything, man, even over here in Tanzania, everything, man. Jack can't afford the shit. See? I'm talking about those Jacks who live an average life, man. See? They're always complaining. And the Jack don't get it. They think it is just their government screwing them. That is part of it, but largely we are living in a biblical moment, man. You see? Let me see. This is Ezekiel 7:15. The sword is without in a pestilence and the famine within. He that in the field shall die with the sword. See? And he that in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. But they that escape of them shall escape and shall be on the mountain like doves of the valley, all of them mourning everyone for his iniquity. You see? This will be a quick lesson, man. Let me see. This is Matthew 24 and verse 6. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of war. So these wars and rumors of war, they will bring about famine and pestilence, man. You see? Because right now the Red Sea is closed. So the Indian Ocean also will be closed. All of this major waterway will be closed. And how the world is interconnected, it will be a trouble. You see? Because nothing will be coming in, going out. See? And nobody will be tilling the land. No. People think like when you already break rules, they will have gardens, they will have farms, they will be farming. No, man. Because society will be disorderly, man. It will be anarchy. See? You won't have time to tend to your garden, man. That's why you are supposed to repent. Because the people think that they will be living at their house and attending to their garden, eating their tomatoes, eating their sweet potato. No, man. You ain't gonna get that chance, man. You see? For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and a kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquake in diverse places. See? And this as the beginning of sorrows, man. So we're living in that time. See? So the point I want to make here is a great famine is coming in Africa and Latin America, man. See? You won't be able to watch the World Cup again. See? So this is Shalom. I hope you edified on